Today, let's switch it up with a C RPG. Hello everyone, and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video, I know a lot of you have been waiting for Baldur's Gate 3. It's something that I have covered numerous times on this channel, and it is a C RPG, or classic role-playing game. Well, today I have a next-generation CRPG that you can get your hands on within this next week. And the name of that title is Waylanders. And that is what we're going to be discussing here today. But first, if you're new here, welcome. Here at Action RPG, I stream, I do tech reviews, I cover major gaming news, but the big portion of this channel, all things Action RPG. So if you grew up loving the Diablo series, if you're a fan of top-down isometric hack-and-slash style games, you are in the right place. So please consider subscribing and supporting smaller channels. All right. Let's break down this new CRPG. As always, I will share my thoughts. Please feel free to share yours in the comment section below. Here we go. Alright, so let's jump right into this. Right now I'm on IGN's website. The Waylanders looks like an ambitious, inventive take on the classic RPGs. And I agree. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read through a little bit of this, then I'm going to play the early access impressions video. I'll finish off the article and tell you my opinions. The Waylanders is a unique blend of historical fiction and mythic fantasy, set in the ancient, real-world region of Brigantia, but overflowing with supernatural magic. Written by veterans of the games like TellTale's The Walking Dead and Fallout New Vegas, its story revolves around what happens when some of that magic becomes corrupted, and how our choices in light of the ripple across history. One of the more unique narrative mechanics of the Waylanders is that the consequences of those decisions don't just play out right as they happen, they're depicted over 1,000 years as the story jumps forward in time into the Middle Ages and back again. That is very cool. If they do it right. Obviously it sounds good in theory, but we'll see how that plays out. The biggest challenge, says lead writer Emily Grace Buck, who cut her teeth on various TellTale projects like The Walking Dead and Batman: The Enemy Within, is making sure that the kind of changes that happen 1,000 years into the future are things that makes sense, given what you've set up in the past, and vice versa. That you're seeing things when you go to the future and you're going, oh, I know why that's like that, and in the perfect world, it's my fault, she adds with a laugh. While the early access doesn't dive into the time jump section, instead focusing on the first act of the story set entirely in the Celtic Age, it introduces several characters and companions who will join you at various stages of the journey, and gives a good sense of humorous, modern style that Waylanders adopt in its dialogue. And I'm not going to read all the bad words part, but yeah, I mean, I think that's a good start for this article and for the game. So, classic RPG. You're talking about time jumping. Your decisions matter on what the future is going to look like and vice versa. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Let me play this video and then we will come back to this article. Enjoy.
The Waylanders is a classically inspired RPG that took its first steps on Kickstarter back in 2018 and has been steadily picking up steam ever since. I recently got to check out an alpha build of the game ahead of its early access launch to explore its fantastical take on the Celtic Age. And yes, that means it is still very much a work in progress. Bugs are still being discovered and weeded out, in-engine cutscenes and conversations still lack animations or lip-syncing, and plenty of items and abilities lack descriptions. But this early access version gives us a good look at what to expect from this ambitious and promising RPG. The Waylanders is a unique blend of historical fiction and mythic fantasy, set in the ancient real-world region of Brigantia, but overflowing with supernatural magic. Written by veterans of games like TellTale's The Walking Dead and Fallout New Vegas, its story revolves around what happens when some of that magic becomes corrupted, and how our choices in light of that ripple across history. And while we'll see the consequences of those decisions depicted as the story jumps forward in time to the Middle Ages and back again, the early access build is primarily focused on the first Celtic Age segment of the game. Combat, which mechanically feels like the most fleshed out aspect of the build at this stage, is a comfortable take on the classic active pause RPG formula. You've got a party made up of your archetypal warrior, tank, mage, or healer classes that evolve with new attacks, abilities, and subclasses as you level up, but there are a couple of interesting twists. First and foremost is the Waylanders' formations mechanic, which allows characters to rally other party members into a tight group to perform unique class-based maneuvers against enemies. These can range from historically inspired arrangements like a classical Grecian phalanx to the mythical Sorcerer's Conclave, which transforms them into an arcane siege tower. And selecting which characters in your party are part of a given formation provides an extra layer of strategy too. The more members in a formation, the more damage it can deal or absorb before breaking, but pooling everyone into one big group drastically limits your options. Perhaps instead of channeling the entire party's energy into a magical golem that will stomp all over its foes, you can opt to put 3 of your 5 total party members into the Guardian Shield Dome to provide cover as your 2 spellcasters bombard the enemy from a distance. It's a really flexible system that seems ripe for endless customization and tinkering for you tacticians out there. And that goes for the Waylanders' configurable AI as well, which allows you to toggle back your party members' behavior to only take actions you command, or, for those of you who prefer a more casual experience, crank it up so that they'll basically take care of themselves when you want to focus on playing as one character instead of all 5. The other notable tweak to the classic RPG style, and this goes for exploration as well as combat, is the Waylanders' dedication to making the experience just as enjoyable for players who prefer a third-person perspective as those who want the classic isometric RPG experience. Quickly swapping from a top-down or three-quarter perspective to a third-person follow cam with the push of a button is a great quality of life innovation, and something I'd like to see other modern takes on the old-school RPG adopt. And while it's still a bit more cumbersome than a traditional third-person camera, it's still the best execution of the idea I've seen in a genre that's never really managed to get past the really zoomed-in ISO cam feel. The option to experience the world from ground level instead of the traditional eye in the sky is something I really appreciated, because what I've seen of the world of the Waylanders so far has been beautiful. From villages surrounded by dense woods to mysterious islands crackling with mystical energy, every environmental pixel is designed to heighten the fantastical nature of GATO's take on ancient Galicia. It's a fascinating mix of old-world historical influence and creative, colorful designs. Blue-skinned humanoid sorcerers with golden metallic eyes sit across the table from Greek adventurers and Celtic kings, while the quote-unquote monstrous Fomorian giants of Irish folklore are surprisingly endearing with their childlike excitement at seeing the surface world for the first time.
Holy shit! Yes!
The Waylanders looks to be an engaging take on the Celtic mythos, which rarely gets a spotlight in media as it is, and I'm intrigued to see where it ends up once it hits final release. GATO Studios is clearly invested in creating an experience alongside its community, and with a fresh take on RPG systems and its unique world, we'll gladly keep checking back throughout early access to see how it's shaping up.
I found some additional footage from the game. I have it on the screen right here. Doesn't this look familiar? Look at that. All the companions in there. This movie's amazing. Come on, Leonidas.
The helmet was stifling. It narrowed his vision, but he must see far.
Waylanders.
Fear was heavy. It threw him off balance, and his target
Jacked.
was far away.
That's a good throw right there. Come on. Too bad it didn't hit him in the head. Alright, enough joking around. Okay, so I am on Steam's website. Let's refresh this. So the Waylanders. This game drops June 16th. So you are talking on Tuesday of next week. Now again, this is an early access launch. This game is going to have 3 different acts, and you are only going to be able to play the first act. So, you know, you'll be able to do your character design, you'll be able to get a good feeling for the game, but as far as all the time travel elements and how your decisions in the first act are going to matter in the third act, you won't be able to do that yet. But of course, as the game progresses, you will be able to do that. I gotta say, like, you know, I have broken down a lot of Baldur's Gate 3, and I know there's tons of CRPGs out there, but the more that I look into this game, the more that I explore it, the more gameplay I see, I mean, it could be a competitor. Like, I'm really curious what you all think. I really like how you can form your team together to make the golem, to make the mage tower, to use different fighting stances. Like, that is an element of strategy that I don't know if I've seen really in a CRPG. I mean, I'm sure it's out there and I'll get comments about what you think it looks like, but that's great. Like, help enlighten me. And anytime that I see video game combat, and it reminds me of the movie 300, it's gotta be good. It's a good movie, like, come on. You guys probably haven't even seen it. Alright, that's all I've got for you today. If you have not joined the official Action RPG Discord, the link is in the description below. We have passed 120 members. It is a continued growing community of gamers, and the idea is that once we find a great game, we could jump from game to game together as a community, so we always launch the server on a good start. Alright, stay home, stay safe, join the Discord. Aaron, out.